down on the River Stour in Kent. First started coming down this river a couple of years ago, fishing for the chub, the bream and smaller species. I got a boat last year, so parts of the river that wasn't accessible before become more accessible. So I ventured down on the river during the open season last year. I didn't fish for the carp, I fished for the other species. But I did keep an eye on where the carp were sort of congregating and grouping up. So I baited up a little bit last year. So in the close season I made sure I come down, got some bait going in on the spots where I seen some carp. I cut out a swim just before we could come down here for the session. Yeah, the real reason I started fishing the rivers was mainly because this time of year the lakes are getting really busy. There's not many choices when you go to the venues of swims or anything like that. So coming down the river, boating down to places where are pretty inaccessible, unless you've got a boat, it opens up a whole new sort of range of fishing. I catch carp that's never been caught before, especially on these little bits where it's pretty inaccessible. There's no footpaths going around, there's private land opposite and behind. You've got to cut out your own swims, make your own adventure and find your own carp. It's more like an adventure than just going to a lake, camping up, flicking a few rods out. You don't know what you're going to catch, you don't know where you're going to fish, you don't know what's even in there to catch, whether there is carp in the area or not. There's miles and miles of river to explore, it never gets boring. That's why I brought the cameras down here today, to give you an insight onto the fishing I like to do during the summer and give you hopefully a bit of motivation to go and do a bit of yourself and find a new adventure away from the busy lakes. So, first night on the river. After boating down last night, we managed one in the first hour. Just before first light, we've just managed another small little river common. It's a spot I've been prepping for quite a while and keeping an eye on for quite a while. So it's good to get a couple of carp in quite quickly. And hopefully we can catch a few more this session. So last 4 hours or so have been pretty quiet. The tide's started to go back out now, and as it started to go back out, we started to see a few more fish, the same as last night. Once the tide was going out and the water was going lower, we started seeing a few more fish in front of us and we had a few more carp. We just had a nice little chub. So hopefully it's a sign the fish are moving back into the area, and hopefully the carp won't be too far away. But a lovely little chub for now. And fingers crossed, the next bite will be a carp. So it's a couple of hours after we've had that chub now, we've had no other bites since. Just tying up some rigs fresh, ready for tonight. So I'll just show you the rig I've been using. Pretty simple, but strong and really effective. It's a KD style whipping, 4 turns over the hair, 8 turns under. That's just tied onto a ring, so I can change size hook baits when I fish a single or a snowman or 2 20mm. It's easy just to floss them on rather than change the length of the hair. Quite a long bit of tubing, size 2 101. Quite a long bit of tubing with the line exiting before the end of the tube, just with use a needle to poke it through, pull it through just early of the normal exit. That's just tied up with the 25-pound hook link, camo hook link. So the other end of the rig, I use a figure-8 loop knot. This allows me to tie the rig on pretty easily to the ring swivel at the other end of the leader. Also, the doubled over section works as an anti-tangle sleeve, so I don't need to worry with those either. And a number 1 shot about 1 inch away from the shrink tube. And that all together is the setup I'm using. So the reason mainly I use this rig is because it is strong, it is reliable, there's not too much finicky things when it comes to tying it up. Strong, reliable hook. I also like to use the lengthened bit of shrink tube because there is a lot of nuisance species and it makes it a bit harder for the bream to take the whole thing in. With the rivers being full of snags and you've got the flow as well, you don't want to be messing around with too many finicky rids. There's something that's going to lay nice on the bottom, present over debris, clean areas, something that will present over quite a lot of them, so you don't want too short a rig. And yeah, just you want something strong and reliable. You don't want something too finicky. You just want something that, you know, once you hook into a fish, it's going to stay strong and you're going to be able to land it. So as I said before, fishing the rivers, there's loads of snags, loads of debris, so you need to make sure not only your rig's strong, but your sort of leader set up as well. I've used a 40-pound ready splice contour leaders and just fished that onto a lead clip with the tail rubber just pushed over, so if you do get caught up in the weed, there's a lot of weed in here as well, or any of the debris, the lead does drop off. That just goes to a ring swivel and a 5-ounce pear lead. So the reason I use the pear lead is there's a lot of shelves in the river, so if I do fish any of the shelves, I want to make sure it's not rolling down. I don't want to use a distance lead where it can roll down easily. The 5-ounce as well, it helps me hold bottom. There's not too much current here, but it not only helps hold bottom, it also helps hook the fish as well. So that combined with a strong rig, big hook, hopefully that helps us to hook a few more carp. So leading up to the river season opening, after finding the spot I wanted to fish, I come down here 3 or 4 times, put some bait in. At first I put a mixture of sizes in, 15s, 20s and some particle just to clear the area, make sure there weren't weeds sitting on the spots. So when it comes to a week before actually fishing the river, I just baited with 20 millers to try and avoid some of the nuisance species that I've been probably attracting before with smaller particles and smaller boilies. So last week come down here with just a 10k of 20 millers, spread it around the whole deep channel in front of me, and just when I've come down here I've done the same things, 3 or 4 handfuls over each rod, each bite. I don't want to bait too heavy because if I do get a shoulder bream in, I don't want them staying there. So 3 or 4 handfuls over each rod, and you're getting quite a lot of bream bites, so you do go through bait quite quickly. But yeah, just throwing it out. It's not a wide part of the river here, so you can throw it out just over the spot, not baiting accurately, just spreading it over the area, and just if any fish are coming past, it should stop them in their tracks because there's a good spread of bait and it's a lot easier to see than it is a sort of tight pocket or a stringer. There's a nice spread, and hopefully any carp that do come past are stopping and having a feed. I'm using the club mix and candy floss this session. I've been baiting up with it leading up to this session, so the carp are obviously liking it. I had 3 carp bites, only 2 landed. Unfortunately, 1 was lost due to a snag, but they're obviously liking the bait. The bream are liking it as well, unfortunately, but the fish are coming onto the spots and cleaning them up, so hopefully they continue to feed on the bait and get a few more bites. So it's been quiet after that chub earlier. I got the rods back out and rebaited, and then sitting there minding my own business, and the left-hand rods just absolutely peeled off. The reels hit the alarm, and we've had this hard fight in 27#2 common, which is great from the river since it's got no real carp form, and it's a new river PB for me. So check that out for a nice fish. Over the moon with that, especially since it's the first trip to the Stour. And I don't really know of any much bigger been coming out, so what a great start. Check that out. Right, so on the second and last morning of the trip on the river. Unfortunately, nothing happened last night. We did lose one. The right-hand rod pulled round about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. The bank stick actually got pulled out the grounds and the rod ended up in the boat. I managed to grab hold of the rod, but the line was also caught under the spool. By the time I untied the line, the fish was off. So, bit of a quiet night apart from that. We've got a couple of hours left, so we're going to try and have another one. But if we don't, it's been a good trip anyway.